I'm not grumpy. I'm just tired. All right. We're just about ready to go here. It's alive. It's alive. All right. Video's good. How's the audio sound? Sound good? All right. That's good news. All right. Let's go ahead and think of. I got to fire one more thing. Beautiful. All right, keep an eye on video quality because I'm pushing 3 streams. We'll see if it stays up. Let's go. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studios in Coldwater, Michigan. The lead stories that lead off the show tonight are PewDiePie hits 100 million subscribers. YouTube will not negotiate with a union. The Apple Watch is once again saved a life with an ECG. Android Auto gets an update. I want to welcome you to episode 1389 of the Geek News Central 1391 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, August 26th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You too can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Well, when we are live once again at geeknewscentral.com/live. We're on Facebook. And I'll be honest with you, it may fall off and go sideways before the evening's out. And I know there's going to be a number of questions about the studio and everything I'm going to do. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes, talk about what's been done here. But nothing has been tweaked. Nothing. So if the audio sucks, forgive me. It's been like put together in the last few hours. It's all come together. So anyway, we're off to the races. And again, I want to welcome all of you. If you're a brand new listener of the show has been on hiatus from video since about May 17th, as I have picked up and moved to Michigan. I can't even think here this morning or this afternoon. But if you're brand new to the show, we want you to take time and make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. And when you do, you're going to be able to subscribe to the show. And you do that right on the right-hand column of the website, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Android, via email, Google Podcasts, on Stitcher, on TuneIn, Spotify. If you want to watch this show again, you can watch it live and replay. If you haven't seen the show before, we're in new digs. But most important thing as well as on that website is you get subscribed to the newsletter. And you can listen to the show on Blueberry.com. Of course, you can listen on your smart home device by using the keyword to launch that device and say, play the podcast, Geek News Central. You can join our chat rooms at geeknews.chat, or you can send me an email to hang out on Slack with me. And if everything's appearing right on screen, it's geeknews@gmail.com is where you send that email to. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Geek News. So that's a way to stay connected with me. And of course, you want to follow on Facebook. Just search for my name, Todd Cochran. Partner shows, these are all linked at geeknewscentral.com. It's a GNC Week in Review by Kirk Corliss. The Gadget Professor, done by Mr. Don Bain. The Pro Gear site, done by my great writing team. Of course, we've got the new media show, hosted by myself and Mr. Rob Greenling, Podcast Legends. Of course, my new show, Podcast Insider, and podcastinsider.com. You can pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. And of course, we want to thank our sponsor, our long-running continuous sponsor of this show, and that's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. You too can get over to GoDaddy, but just going to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and pick up one of my deals. Whether it be 30% off a new product purchase, $4.99.com, a newer or for new and transferred for customers, new or transfer for new customers. That's a one-time deal, $4.99. $1 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again with a free domain. All those codes again are geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can get a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder as your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. Again, all these pages, all this information can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Well, I tell you, folks, I'm pretty jazzed to be back live, and everyone is. Someone said no Facebook audio. Well, some other folks said they heard it. So, okay. So refresh, please. We're pushing on live stream. We're pushing on YouTube Live. We're pushing on Facebook. We're not on Mixer. We're not on Twitch now. My credentials expired. But we are on Twitter, both on NMS Podcast and on @Geek News. We're using Wowza Streaming Cloud Server to restream a bunch of the streams, but we're pushing 3 separate streams tonight. So I want to keep an eye on everything, and just, let me know what you see, what you hear tonight. That would be most appreciative. I'm keeping an eye on things. I'm noticing right now I've got a little bit of audio levels that are a little high, so I'm going to turn those down just a little bit, and hopefully that takes some of the peaks off. So anyway, let me get you guys caught up here on what happened, and I'm going to cycle through the views so you can see the views in the studio as I've got it set up now. I really had huge challenges with the camera views, and I'm still, what it is, this desk is too narrow. I need an extension. I need to go about 2 feet more to the left, and I can slide things down a little bit further. So I'm going to be looking for an extension for this table to add about 2 feet to it. It's just a little bit, I'm just a little bit too much to the right is what's going on. And of course, everything is switched in the new studio. If you guys remember before, everything was on the left. So the monitor, everything. And so now everything is over my right shoulder. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to from just, many years of looking to the left, and then now I have to look at the right. Another thing that's changed in the studios now is and I got to get a little better situation. I just have the MacBook in front of me. I don't have a monitor in front of me. I've got the TriCaster switcher in front of me, but the MacBook is a little bit too low, so we got to get that adjusted. So as you can see in the studio, there are some different views, but it's not optimal yet. I've got to get it a little bit more down. Then maybe even potentially moving the cameras back another foot. So time will tell how it's all going to kind of shape out. Something new as well is I've got 2 feeder lights coming in from this side to hopefully get rid of the shadows. We'll experiment with that. Got lights overhead. And of course, I've kind of got the lights semi dialed in. I kind of like the look now. It's kind of sexy. It's kind of not too bright. Of course, I got a big blob on my head, so I got to add some filters to the lights above to help knock that down a little bit. But overall, yeah, a lot of work's been done. So let me kind of fill you in on what happened. On Friday, I had to do some final network work. And got everything ready for, because what it did is the electrician had come in and moved the plugs, and I was able to move the network switch and get it plugged into a different location, and pulled some old cables out, run some Cat 6 and even some Cat 7. And then because I got some cameras that are basically powered over Ethernet. And then Saturday, I kind of prepped the space, I organized the gear, got everything out of the cubicles here. Really kind of just final cleanup. And then Sunday, the team from Audimute at audimute.com arrived. And here's really the deal. The studio sounds incredible. I mean, really, really incredible, and in a big way. And the view I saw, I'm sure many of you saw the YouTube video already, or the Facebook video with me walking through the 3 different studios. And the best thing about this whole design is it's real simple. If I ever want to change what's behind me, I just order some new panels, printed. I can do a design, whatever I want, and things will change. But anyway, the Audiomute team, and if you want to get connected with the Audiomute team for something you're going to do, please contact me directly. Then I'll connect you with the right team members there, and we're going to get you the best discount. Again, exclusively through me, get you connected with the designer. We'll talk more about them in the future, about the design team. And I posted a picture of the mock-up design of the studio on Facebook yesterday as well. If you haven't seen that, go to the video thread and look at that, and you'll see what was mocked up and then what it ended up. And I would say about 95% exactly what we expected. They did find a couple of pieces that probably need to be redesigned. They're actually going to send me a filler piece for over here on the side where there's a gap, but just some minor. I'm almost nothing. Everything else went in absolutely perfectly. Green screen walls in and up and installed, and excited to be able to do some stuff in there. So basically, they got done about 4. I took some of them to lunch, got back here about 5, and then I was here till like 1 in the morning. And then went home for a few hours of sleep and did work today, did raw voice stuff all day, and then lunchtime worked on this some more, and then slapped the rest of it kind of together in the last couple of hours. And everything is, if you could see, I posted a picture. If you could see everything that's external to the studio, it's a wreck. There's cables, there's stuff laying everywhere. It is insane. So tomorrow I'll get to be able to clean this thing up. So again, got 3 different camera views right now. Much more to come on all that, and even Skype and everything is working. So when Rob Greenlee and I get ready to do a new media show, that's going to be up and available and ready to go. I got to finish testing it. I've wired it. I saw sound going back and forth, so that's good. And then tonight, because of the way the studio changed, I'm now recording to a Denon fixed recorder. So that is actually recording the audio. I'm no longer recording on an actual computer now. So, and I've got a backup here on the TriCaster. And then also, because I do capture for the video part of this, I had to run an SDI cable through the roof down to the edit bay where the Mac Pro is. And it's actually doing a separate video capture right now as well, so that when I get done with the show tonight, that I can just walk down there and do the edit of the video like I normally did in the old studio. So anyway, the studio is up. It's wired. It doesn't sound exactly, basically I had this mic in my hand over at the at the mixer. Test 1 2 1 2, test 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2. I did like a 3-minute walkthrough there, and then I went to the rack and just barely tweaked the actual EQ. So I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not pumping on the compressor. There's really no noise in here. So there's really almost no need for it. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. But anyway, so we'll wrap things up here this week. I may do a Wednesday show because Thursday I leave for Dragon Con. I go down there. So I may do a live show on Wednesday. Haven't decided yet. I'd like to get 2 shows out this week, if at all possible. And we'll go from there. But as you can see, and I'm looking at the screen, I just need a little more space. I got to move things a little bit. It's not quite perfect. And part of the problem is this monitor behind me with the Skype machine is closer. It was normally about a foot further back. And that helped me out with the camera views. So I'm going to put there's room to put a table behind this. Matter of fact, the Mac Minis are back there. So I ordered a little stand to be able to, it's basically a media rack, be able to put that stuff in a rack. Right now it's kind of on a couple of shelves I've got. But it's, we'll get everything cleaned up here and get everything dialed in. It's a learn as we go. I tried to plan for every contingency, but that never, ever, ever, ever really comes through. But it looks like everyone's saying that it's good on audio and video, both on Twitter and Facebook. And everyone says that, at least on Facebook, that's sounding good. If you're watching, please, please, please check in and say hello. And let me know you're here, and definitely appreciate you watching tonight. And good to be back live with everyone in a time zone now from furthermore 8 p.m. Eastern. When I'm here in the studio in Michigan, we'll be able to go live in the early evening, and I'll be able to catch more of you folks. All right, so that's the kind of the run up of everything that's going on. And let's get into what you're all here for. The audience that is listening or subscribed via podcast, you don't care. But I hope you'll take a few minutes, if you would, and go over to the YouTube channel and just take a look at the video, take a look at the studio and the outline. I'd love to have your feedback. Again, geeknews@gmail.com. And so anyway, thanks for everyone. And of course, the Audimute team, the owner came. The owner was here and he was cranking stuff out. Him and Kevin were basically here doing the install on a Sunday. It tells you something, all right? They're as excited about this project as I am, and I'm looking forward to introducing content from both of the other studios as well, and we'll be sharing that as time goes on. So we're going to start off here tonight with PewDiePie becoming the first individual YouTube creator to hit 100 million subscribers. This is it's a big deal. This is a big deal. And, I'll just be honest with you. I've watched a few of his shows, and I'm not that big a fan, to be frank. He's kind of, he has definitely got a fan base. 100 million people likes his stuff. But count me as one of those that, and of course, he's been controversial and he's been demonetized a little bit. But with 100 million subscribers, he's got to be making some money. He's got to be making some serious cash. So, anyway, PewDiePie, 100 million subscribers. Congratulations to him. YouTube has basically said as well, and they made a public statement that they will not do business with the YouTubers Union. And that's a year-old organization that aims to support creators on the platform and bring them together to push for creator-friendly changes. If you want creator friendliness, you do what I'm doing here. Yes, I'm streaming to YouTube Live. I'm streaming to Twitter. We're off Twitch. We're off Mixer tonight. We'll get back on that on the next show. If you want to control your stuff, you have to do what I do. Have your own .com. Have your own website. This is how creators control their destiny. You don't have to have a union, and obviously Google is going to give the bird to the unions. They say, we've explained the union in great detail what YouTube is doing in terms of transparency and support for YouTubers. Well, what YouTube does is what's good for YouTube. A few creators benefit from that. A YouTube spokesperson said in an email statement, but we have also made clear that we're not going to negotiate their demands. Even so, YouTube has taken steps to appease the union after it joined IG Metall, a German metalworks union that is the largest industrial union in Europe. Earlier this month, according to a Facebook post from George Sprav, the founder of the YouTubers Union, Google Germany offered to meet with the union to discuss some fundamental questions about the future of work, which the union accepted. Now, we know that the YouTubers Union officially began in March of 2018, and their main demands relating making the service more democratic for smaller creators. It's calling for monetization for smaller channels, and good luck. And the right to speak with a real person. Well, you know how many people are creating stuff on YouTube? So anyway, YouTube has basically said they're not going to negotiate with the YouTubers Union. You're using our platform for free. You're getting exposure. You make a little money if you're big enough. Otherwise, pack sand. Otherwise, pack sand. So it shouldn't come as a surprise. But again, become a podcaster. Don't be controlled. You can do video. You can do Facebook. You can do YouTube. Have your own website. You don't have to be controlled. And lots of stuff coming. If you've been listening to my new media show with Rob Greenlee, if any of you subscribe to that, big changes coming. And those of you that are watching Google search results, you're starting to see podcasts pop into those results, and also topical searches for podcasts as well. This next article is heartwarming. I'm wearing my Apple Watch, and actually I did an ECG on myself this afternoon after reading this article. Hadn't done one in a while. Was feeling okay. Wasn't really needing one. But while some doctors are cautioning users against the Apple Watch ECG feature, it seems that it might not be a bad idea to follow up with a doctor if you get some weird readings. This is because a report from Fox 10, a woman in Alabama by the name of Anna Rowe, had attributed the Apple Watch to saving her life. According to the report, she'd experienced some shortness of breath while walking around her home. But because she had asthma or asthmatic, she dismissed it as part of the illness. However, when she decided to check her heart using the Apple Watch ECG feature, it detected that she had an irregular heartbeat. She didn't really buy the readings, but they basically were pretty consistent, and she then decided it might be a good idea to pay her doctor a visit. She was sent to the hospital, in which the hospital equipment revealed similar results. She underwent mitral valve replacement, had open heart surgery, which helped reduce the risk of her getting a stroke. Again, she's credited the Apple Watch for saving her life. So if you've got an Apple Watch and you're feeling a little punky, if something's don't feel quite right, and you've got the one that does the ECG, do it just to check. What can it hurt, right? Can't hurt anything. So make sure you give that a try, all right? I'm looking here across the live stream. Yep, everything seems to be up and running good so far. Very, very happy. That means the bandwidth here is holding up so far. I was actually going to, excuse me, those of you that are watching, I'll do something unusual here. I need to look back. Nice. The live stream video is running at speed too. Google Maps has got some new buttons in Android Auto. They've added buttons including alternate routes. Yes, this is new to Android Auto. So they've added buttons including alternate routes, search, and nearby locations. And everyone's been raving about the alternate routes because it's now one of the most frequent used buttons when navigating. And thanks to the new button on the main map, you'll no longer have to dig through the menus when you find yourself stuck in traffic. Or you can just use Waze. And so anyway, they've got some updates for those of you that are using Android Auto to make it easier to get to that particular function when needed. Many of you have older parents that may be single, either through they lost a spouse or they become divorced. But there's articles out now or something over on Lifehacker talking how to protect your parents from online dating scams. And it turns out that the way it's really working is that men and women are being befriended on dating apps. And they're doing a lot of chatting back and forth. And the one woman who was a victim that got took for about $1 million, she said, we talked about everything. We talked about our kids. For me, looking back now, it was very therapeutic because I could write so much more than I could ever articulate in speech. She said of her romance with an international contractor that started on an online dating site. Eventually, she began paying him to help with customs disputes, tariffs involved in his contracting business. She said, I was so invested at this point that I talked to my dad, and my dad talked to my mom, and they gave me $100,000, which to this day is the only money I truly regret because they're 84 and 89, and I would love for that money to be back in their bank account. In the end, even after providing documentation to the FBI, she wasn't able to recover her losses. So last year, now listen to this, 21,000 Americans were victim of online dating scams, losing a combined $143 million. Most of these folks will not ever get any money back. The large percentage of folks that have been scammed are women. So if you have a parent that's on a dating site, you need to be making sure that they're not giving out their credit card to anyone on the dating site or sending Western Union money or anything like that. All right? Need to talk to them. They may be ashamed that they've sent some money, but better to get that nipped in the bud right away. Can't help it. They're lonely. They want to meet people. All right? All right, NASA's astronauts celebrate Women's Equality Day in space at midpoint of record-breaking flight. A NASA astronaut is in the midst of a nearly year-long mission. The longest single flight by a woman marked the midpoint of her journey with a video celebration of Women's Equality Day and the female space pioneer who came before her. So this is all up on their website. American astronaut Christina Koch, who's on her first spaceflight, expected to spend 328 consecutive days in space. During her trip to the International Space Station, surpassed the single mission current record of 289 set by NASA veteran astronaut Peggy Whitson in 2017. Whitson still holds the record for most accumulated time by a woman over multiple missions at 534 days. So nice to see this, and congratulations to what will be a record set by American astronaut Christina Koch. Okay, YouTube Music has released has a new released playlist. Now, I guess a lot of music's being listened on YouTube. I didn't know this. You thought you would use Pandora or Spotify or one of those type of apps where you can also get podcasts. But YouTube's music new release playlist has the top 50 tracks of the week. And this comes out every Friday. So this has been spotted by 9 to 5 Google, which features the hottest 50 songs this week served up every Friday. This is a clear effort to compete with Spotify's own New Music Friday and Apple Music's New Music Daily. But do people really listen to music on YouTube? I'd love to hear where you're listening to your music at. geeknews@gmail.com. geeknews@gmail.com. You're not going to believe this one. We've always seen people driving, right, doing their makeup, men shaving. You know, they woke up a little late, need to get out of the house. They have to, I've seen guys use electric razors. No, I've never ever seen anybody use shaving cream, but, and of course, women doing their makeup, doing their lipstick. We've all seen that, right? Of course, people talking on their phone. How about playing Scrabble? How about playing Scrabble while driving? A Minnesota police officer last week pulled over a man who was playing online Scrabble while driving. It's a little different than the Washington State driver who police found earlier this month on the shoulder of a highway playing Pokemon Go on 8 screens. At least that guy was pulled over. The Minnesota man was actually playing letter tiles and driving at the same time. The Eagan, Minnesota Police Department issued a wry tweet about the situation. He said, ticket issued to driver on Yankee Doodle Road, the tweet went, to clarify, playing online Scrabble while driving is illegal. I wonder what that ticket cost. People, please, you're going to kill us. Don't be doing this. Do not. Please stop. Please, I beg you to stop that. Don't be playing games. If you can't control yourself, take a day off. And play games on your phone at home. At least then when you lose some wages or you take PTO, maybe you'll think twice about doing that. I talked tonight, we're not on Mixer tonight, but if you're not familiar with Mixer, it's a Twitch alternative. I'll have a link up in the show notes about it. And For most people, Twitch is synonymous with streaming, while Twitch is undoubtedly the most popular platform for gaming and stuff. It doesn't do anything particularly unique compared to others. Mixer and Twitch both work by streaming whatever is on the broadcaster screen into a web browser for a live audience. But you can also push an RTMP stream to Mixer as well. And Mixer's gaining popularity. It's still relatively unknown. It's a Microsoft product. But anyway, definitely check it out. All right. Definitely check Mixer out. And I'll have a probably link up to my channel in a future show notes when we're back streaming over there. All right. Well, this one comes as a little bit of a surprise. This is a company I know in Hawaii. A movie company sued Hawaiian ISP over repeatedly pirating the movie Hotel. Oh, no, it was over repeatedly pirating Hotel. It was a hotel that was doing the pirating. Movie company Bodyguard Productions suing Hawaiian ISP Pacific Direct Connect, accusing it of contributory and direct copyright infringement. The copy holder argues the ISP not only failed to terminate the account of a popular Honolulu hotel, which was repeatedly flagged for piracy activity. And turns out it was an Aston property. And I'm very familiar with the ISP Pacific Direct Connect. They mostly do again, hotels and businesses. So, but anyway, under DMCA, companies are required to implement a reasonable policy, and they did not. So, they're going after the ISP for failing to terminate the repeat infringer. And again, it was Aston Waikiki Sunset. It's a large hotel in Waikiki. So someone's going to pay over there. Remember that Air Force secret space plane? Well, we haven't talked about it in a while, but it's hit a new record, 718 days in orbit. And they've had a history of extending each mission a little bit longer, so they expect this one to go on maybe as much as another 100 days or so. So, but it's been up there in orbit, 718 days. Pretty impressive. We have no idea what's on board for sure, but they got something up there that they're doing a test with. I could probably imagine pretty good. Are you using a password manager? Are you doing random passwords for websites? Or you do a sequential numbers that you have a code for? I used to have a system that I used to use, and I probably gave that up more than 5 years ago. It was, and it allowed me to quickly enter a password for a website. I use Random Generator now for everything. And you should too. There's been so many different sites that have been hacked. If you've been using any type of random or some sort of sequential thing that people could start guessing your passwords just by seeing several that you've used, it could end badly for you. So you need a password manager right now. You need to get one. LastPass is my favorite one, but there's a number of them out there that you can use. Norton Password Manager is one that's available. 1Password, Dashlane. Again, I like LastPass because it integrates almost into everything. So definitely get out there, and Engadget's got a good review article here, and I hope that you'll take a look. All right. If you're on the live stream tonight and you haven't checked in yet, please do so. Please say hello. We'll make sure that we get you checked in. AT&T's telecom chief is retiring amid industry upheaval. John Donovan is leaving as the Sprint T-Mobile merger edges closer and the 5G rollout continues. So, people get old, they get to retire. Isn't it kind of nice? Rich people do anyway. I think the rest of us just have to work. But anyway, he's going to punch out starting October 1st, and AT&T said they will announce a new leader here in the coming days. If you are in Berlin, the IFA, that's a show that I'd love to go to, but I haven't ever went. It's the Consumer Electronics Unlimited show. It's in Berlin September 6th through the 11th. So if you're going to IFA, love to hear a report on how the show was. Definitely, drop me a line on that. And but anyway, IFA starts on September 6th or 11th for our European listeners. Have a good time at that show. Remember that Soyuz, that new model that they launched the International Space Station? Well, they took that space bot up there as well, right? Well, the Russian space bot is stranded outside the International Space Station as the Soyuz failed to dock. Russia is saying it's not the spacecraft, it's the dock had an issue. So they moved one of the lifeboats to a different docking location. That was done manually. And they're going to try and redock. What is the date today? Tomorrow, on the 27th, they're going to try to redock the new spacecraft and get the space spot offloaded. But it's a brand new navigation system, and so it's kind of suspect. If you remember, a weary Soyuz spacecraft really did a lot of damage to the Russian platform before. So we hope that doesn't happen again. I'm sure they're taking all the precautions they need. And we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll report on the next show how it's done. All right. Let's see here. So I'm kind of curious. You guys let me know which view you like the best tonight. So I've got those of you that are watching, I'm going to run you through the camera views. So this is camera view number 1. And I'll leave that up there for a second. This is camera view number 2. And then this is camera view number 3. Let me know what you like about each of those or hate. I definitely want some feedback. Again, they're probably going to get adjusted as I can. If I get an extension to this desk and can move down a little bit. It's just a little bit too cramped. All right, moving on here. Watch dozens of free movies in the IMDb's app. IMDb, you know what the IMDb is? I think it's the Internet something database. But it's called the IMDb mobile app. And if you've already seen everything on streaming, this free selection of ad-supported film, TV shows may prove enticing. So prior to this, the service was only available on the IMDb website, Prime Video, or Amazon Fire devices. So IMDb TV's also expanded its offerings through a new deal with Paramount and Lionsgate. New to the service are Silver Linings Playbook, Age of Adeline, In the Heart of Sea. Also available now is The Middle, a TV showing starring Patricia Heaton and Neil Flynn. So again, ad-supported content, IMDb TV is what you want to go look for. Apple reportedly terminates contract with those who are hired to analyze Siri recordings. In a report back in July, you remember, The Guardian revealed that Apple was sending Siri recordings to outside contractors. The company initially defended their decision, claiming that the analysis of the readings were done to improve Siri, which I think we all understand. But the fact that they did not tell anyone kind of made it feel kind of yucky. And following the report, Apple revealed that they had suspended the program and would be reviewing the process. As it turns out, it seems that Apple could have done away with the program completely. Apple's apparently terminated contractors. So I guess it's gone. It's done. Enough bad news. They didn't want any more. NASA's new moon landing supercomputer is more powerful and more eco-friendly. It uses a modular facility that uses less water and less power. And they've officially opened its new supercomputer, Aitken, at the Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley. Aitken's can run simultaneous up to 3.69 petaflops of theoretical performance and has 221 terabytes of storage, has 1,150 nodes and 46,080 cores. and is powered by HPE SGI 8600 system using second generation Intel Xeon processors. So to keep all that cool, the housing module makes use of the California environment using outdoor air fan technology and a circulating water system. Is that a swamp cooler? But anyway, it's based on a prototype called Electra that was built in 2016. The Asus ZenBook Pro Duo will be released on September 6th in the United States, and there's been a lot of talk about this. It's priced at $24.99 and $29.99. Both machines have the model signature ScreenPad Plus touchscreen above the keyboard, an NVIDIA RTX 2600 graphics card, Thunderbolt 3 port, a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, and an OLED screen. And it comes with an whopping i9 processor with 32 gigs of DDR4. It runs at 2,666 millihertz. Oh, nice. So this is a bad boy. Yes, it is. Massive machine. Apple has just released an emergency patch for the iPhone. The company released a patch to fix a dangerous bug that basically allowed hackers to jailbreak a fully patched iPhone. But they got that out in a hurry. So you'll probably see that update come through. They don't want that out there in the wild too long, but it's too late. It's kind of out there. In France, the G7 just, I think, wrapped up, and France and the United States have reached a deal to end a standoff over French tax on big internet companies. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Monday that, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump had threatened to hit back with a tariff action after France passed a law earlier this year that would impose a 3% tax on revenues earned on digital services in France. Macron told reporters that companies that pay the tax would be able to deduct the amount once a new international deal on how to tax internet companies is found next year. We've done a lot of work on a bilateral basis. We have a deal to overcome the difficulties between us, Macron told reporters speaking alongside the president at the end of the G7 summit. So it doesn't sound like they're going to sounds like they're going to still tax companies. So it really isn't over, is it? Instagram has continues to do its assault on Snapchat. Actually, I hadn't heard anybody do a snap until yesterday. one of the friends basically I and Jim came, and Jim was doing a snap of the studio. I'm like, I thought only teenagers use Snap. But anyway, Instagram's latest assault on Snapchat is a messaging app called Threads, and the app promotes sharing your status, location, and more with your closest friends. Yeah, just what I want to do is share all this additional personal information. So anyway, if you are an Instagram fan, you can definitely check out Threads. There's something new from the Instagram team. All right, I think, let me look here. Email. GNC. I think I've got everything that I've talked about. I think we already talked about Charles's email. I don't think so. I think I missed this. It talks about facial recognition. And if I did this already, I apologize. He said, I would say, and this is my instance of talking about facial recognition in regards to, I thought personally that I'd rather have the police have facial recognition than private industry. But he said, I would say I would prefer the private industry being able to use facial recognition over law enforcement, as the technology is still inaccurate. False positive are more common than not. False positive of the business might cause a minor inconvenience, but false positive of law enforcement can ruin one's life by making them unemployable to an arrest record, as indicated in this article. So we did talk about this, but talks about someone who was arrested twice for a bank robbery that he didn't commit. He also says, also showing the inaccuracy of facial recognition while using a lower tolerance than Amazon recommends for law enforcement. There's nothing that prevents law enforcement from doing the same thing. So I did read that already. I kind of forgot that I had. But this is going to bring me to the end here, folks, of the show tonight. And do want to thank you all for, it's fun to be back in the studio here, the new studio. And in chat, Steven says, hey, Todd, I like watching music videos on YouTube rather than just listening to music on Spotify. I just don't have time to watch TV. I listen to music, but Rick says, I like them all, but number one is my favorite. Oh, okay. Thanks, Rick, for the feedback there, the instant feedback on shot number one. I kind of like shot number one too a lot. But I definitely want to move stuff over a little bit so we can see more of the studio background. I can do stuff with that. One thing I did notice is the stuff in the back's got to be bigger. Just the small stuff that you can't see, it's not distinct. I think that some stuff can be easily seen, but as I'm looking at it at the screen, some stuff is kind of hid. So I'll be working on the shelf and getting that set up. But other than that, I think first successful run here of the new studio. Everything stayed online, it appears. Looking at the streams to see if everything stayed up. It looks like it did, which is good news. So again, I'll decide if I'm going to do a Wednesday show. I'm thinking I probably will, just to keep the ball rolling here as we count down on our march to 1,400. And like to get that achieved on time. So, but again, it's been my pleasure. Again, I'm heading out Thursday to Dragon Con, and then we'll not be back until Labor Day. So probably no show on Monday. So a Thursday and a Thursday show, or Wednesday and a follow-on Thursday show. But anyway, that'll help me get stuff dialed in here a little bit as well. And it might actually be another Wednesday show because I leave for Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. So maybe a few shows out of sequence here just to keep the ticker running on the countdown to 1,400. But anyway, yeah, thanks everyone. And those of you that are audio only, Jack, I know you're going to go into this content deeply. So make sure that you dig in and see what you can make of the audio sound now, and we'll definitely be tweaking this more. It's been my pleasure to bring the show to you tonight. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time here on the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.